is Rachel. This is my first video since Evan Carmichael's Momentum Challenge a few weeks ago. And I guess I kind of lost momentum after the challenge. The challenge was absolutely amazing. I felt so safe. So much growth in myself and in others in the group. And I took the bold step and I joined the Movement Makers. And then everything seemed very, very real and just like, I don't know, me starting a business. And so that was really a thing that was hitting on me. It's like, I don't know, like, can I start a business with my experiences? So that kind of imposter syndrome, if you will. But I knew I wanted to share my story, and I knew my story could help others. And I know who I want to help. I want to help young adults, teenagers, adolescents with mental health. These days, we don't talk enough about mental health, and it can be really scary and to struggle with these issues and not really know how or feel safe talking about them. I certainly did not feel safe as a young adult when I was going through these issues. And so, yeah. And then I watched Evan, the Movement Makers, first training, and that really kind of cleared it up and reminded me that this is not just some business. This is wanting to help others, which helped me through that business thing that was holding me back. And so, yeah, there was that, and then there was, I don't know, do I keep my current YouTube channel the way it is? Do I change it? Do I make a whole new channel? Should I delete the content that's already up on my YouTube channel and put new stuff up? Do I need to make a new Instagram? And all those little thoughts, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And I said, you know what, we're just gonna start with my YouTube channel just the way it is. I'm gonna keep all those videos for now because I think they're part of my past, and reminds me of the type of person that I was, the type of person that I'm becoming. So, yeah, and that's how we got to this video. And yeah, so now I tell my first story. So I was about 22 years old. I was in community college. And I was living with my dad, but I didn't want to be living with my dad because we didn't get along very well. And I wanted so badly just to be independent. And my dad was a compulsive gambler. So, at that time, we were almost evicted. And my therapist at the time told me that I can apply for APS, which is Adult Protective Services. And so we did that, had the APS worker come, they stopped our eviction. They did an interview in the house. My therapist also told me that this might be a way for me to get into public housing. So that was one of the reasons why I did it. So when they came to the interview, it was with me, my dad, my stepmom, and I was nervous. I was anxious. And I didn't talk a lot. And the caseworker told me on her way out that if I wanted to get out of that situation, that I wanted to leave, I needed to be more open with her about how I was feeling and what I was really going through. And she said that I could text her. And at the time, I was feeling pretty badly. I was dealing with some suicidal ideation, having some thoughts. They were just thoughts. And I was reluctant to tell, but I said, if this is what will push the needle to get me out, I thought. And so I texted her that I was having thoughts, and then I didn't hear anything back. And and about an hour later, police shows up at my door. There's an EMT at my door. I haven't heard from my caseworker. And so the first thing is like, are we being evicted? I thought she stopped the eviction, but maybe. And just like, but I opened the door because it's the police, so I'm just like, I'm not going to not open the door. They said they were here to do a safety check. They saw me with my bed. I was sleeping in the living room at the time. The living room, sleep in a 1-bedroom studio apartment. I had the living room. The living room was also the kitchen. So I had the couch pulled out. And I had so there were knives on the kitchen counter. And the day previous, I was working with kids and I had red marker, like, splashes on my arm. If anybody ever works with kids, you know that it can be messy, and sometimes markers, they don't come out the first time you wash your hands. So I had these red, like, sort of slash lines on my hand. And they said, "You're hurting yourself." And I said, "I am not hurting myself." And they said, "You need to go to the hospital." I'm just like, I can wash it off and show you that I'm not hurting myself. They're like, "No, you need to go to the hospital." I'm just like, I was terrified. So I said, "I need to get dressed." I was in my pajamas. I didn't feel comfortable leaving the house that way. And they wouldn't even let me go to the bathroom to get dressed. They said they needed to see me. So they let me, like, hide behind, like, part of my couch and sort of get myself dressed. And then I took my phone, I took my tablet, all these things that, like, when I'm anxious can help me calm down. And I got into the ambulance. I had never flown in an ambulance before. So I was just terrified, and they did an intake, and then they said, "Oh, you can't have your phone and your tablet, we have to take all your stuff." And I'm just like, "But these are the things that keep me calm." And it's like, "No, you can't have them in the hospital." So I wrote down all the numbers of my friends, and I just kept calling them throughout the day until I can get to my caseworker. And when I went to see the doctor at the hospital, the psychiatrist, and I told her, and she asked me about the marks on my hands, and I said, "Miss, they are marker." And I showed them to her, and she's like, "Yeah, they're marker. You can clearly see that they're marker." And I said I wasn't going to hurt myself. I was upset and depressed, but I was not going to hurt myself. And she said, "Okay, we'll wait for your caseworker. You can make a safety plan." So at that point, I'm just like, "All right, let me do this so I can get out of here." And it wasn't even about being better anymore. It was just like, I need to get out of here so I can get my coping mechanisms back and I can get better. And there's a lot of thunder. I have an umbrella. Anyways, that's off topic. Um, so I did the safety plan. A caseworker came. I'm just like, all of this, and I'm just like, I didn't hear from you. You didn't say anything. She's like, I thought they were gonna take you to your therapist. And so I needed to make sure you were safe. And at that point I was just playing it off. I was just like, I'm okay now. But really I was so anxious, and so I felt traumatized. But I wasn't going to say that because I didn't want to stay in the hospital. I wanted to go home and feel safe. And because all that trauma built up, I actually ended up cutting which was the whole purpose of what they didn't want me to do. I then felt like I had to do it because there was nobody who I could talk to who was gonna get it and say and help me through it. My friends, they all thought that what happened was a good thing. And for me, it wasn't a good thing. It made me feel anxious and unsafe. And so I needed to feel in control. And so I took a scissor and I scraped my wrist. And then I stopped. And that is the story of how I started cutting. So really, looking back, the things that I've learned is I should have trusted my gut, which told me not to say anything, and found another way. And I also trusted somebody that I had just met, just out of desperation of wanting to leave. And yeah, so I don't know. I guess one of the things for me is really taking the time to find the people who you trust and who you're willing to be open with and vulnerable with. Is something that's really important. And that's all I got. So until I'm gonna aim for next week to post another story. Yeah. Until next time.